Hello, James. Getting started here in just a couple of minutes, doing a show on Katabasis and Parade of Horribles with a few of my friends. Everyone should be hopping on here. We're supposed to start at 6:15. Um, all right. All right, Dylan, you on? Let's see. Invite sent, my friend. You get your audio issues figured out?
Hello, hello.
There you are. I think you're a little bit loud. If you could turn it down just a hair, I don't know if you're able to do that. Turn that down just a smidge. I don't know if I can do that on my end. Oh man, I'm excited to hear what you thought about the book. I feel like you're probably in the same lane as I am on chapters 1 through 6 for Katabasis. I don't want to get into it too early. I know Kano was trying to finish up cooking dinner, so she'll be hopping on and just there she is. Hey Kana, you on?
Uh, yeah, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. And no no
Uh,
no sound feedback this time.
well, I'm on my phone.
Oh, well, it
Yeah, I
works.
don't know why. I could see all the other lives on my desktop, and then when I would click on yours, it would just like break. So I'm gonna be on my phone again. I don't know why
The
TikTok hates us,
TikTok
particularly
live
us.
TikTok live studio is just one of those things that it's a mess. It's not it's not ideal from that standpoint. So we'll see
Nah.
we'll see how it goes, but. So we'll kind of hop in. I think this is going to be the core group. I do have someone else I invited. I don't know if they acted like they were going to try and make it. So
Sweet.
if you see Otter Pop's bookshelf, hop on. We're gonna let him in. Otter Pops. I got to figure out like what their what their actual name is, but
I like the Otter Pops. It's
it's
childhood memory.
what is there something I'm missing from a reference standpoint?
I think they're called something else. Like we would go to the pool growing up, and they would have them like in little tubes, just like frozen, slushy kind of in a tube that you would just like suck out of. I guarantee you there's another name for it, but we always called them Otter Pops,
Otter Pops. Well, there you go. Um,
something like that.
all right, so
Hey
hopping
y'all.
in. Hey, Michael.
Hello.
Michael was on earlier on our test run where we're still trying to figure out how to make TikTok Studio do what the internet says it can do. But
And
anyway,
failing.
so my understanding is that you have not read Dungeon Crawler Carl. Is that right?
I have not. No,
Oh,
sir.
dude, we're gonna ruin it for you. I'm just like throwing it out there. Like we're gonna be talking some end game stuff, and so
It's all good.
I'm gonna
That
t-
still hooks me.
I'm gonna take the first 5 minutes to open this up for everyone to give you one reason why we can do the Latter Day Saints pitch on Dungeon Crawler Carl of why you should be reading this book. Kana, how you wanna start us off on what's your one reason why you should read Dungeon Crawler Carl?
Well, let me ask you this. Are you a cat person or ever owned cats or lived with someone with cats?
Yes.
Okay, you should read it because the story is basically a man, like your average American man, who end of world apocalyptic scenario alien game show, but the whole time this dude is with his ex-girlfriend's cat that gains sentience and it acts like a cat.
Oh God, yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's
And
usually my main selling point to people.
are you an audiobook guy, Michael?
Yes, I read and I also listen to audiobooks.
So that my number one reason on my pitch is the audiobook production took this is within the lit RPG genre. So there are levels and it's set up kind of like a video game or like World of Warcraft or something like that. It's set within a world that's most similar to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is how the world is set up. From a political standpoint, where Earth kind of gets sucked into a larger multiverse of planets, and then it gets really funny and crazy from there. But the audiobook, I feel like, has taken what lit RPG historically has been a pretty niche, type of genre, and this mainstreamed that. So it's getting a TV show. It's got
Nice.
huge fan base, and so it's gotten all the girls that just mainly read romance get sucked into this. Yeah, and Kane is one of them. Where you see a lot of genre specific fans where they've been in other parts of the fantasy genre or science fiction fantasy genre, and they come into this and are just enthralled by the storytelling. So, what do you
It's
think,
truly
Dylan?
it's truly just so entertaining. Like anyone, like you said, anyone from any kind of genre, I'm sure could love it.
To be honest, you had me at a sentient cat.
That is a lot of people's favorite part for sure.
I love it. I love it.
And she acts like a cat. Like she doesn't just she retains a lot of, if you know, cat mannerisms. Which I'm not a cat person. I'm a dog guy. Donut would hate me, but her name's Donut, clearly. But Dylan, what's your pitch? One liner, man. What do you think?
I think the one that resonates with me the most is the one that I see most of the time, which that it is a heartbreaking horror story wrapped up in a fart joke.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It is. It is. It gets heavy.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
does.
It
I got you.
does.
I got you. Well,
And I think
I'm a huge fan of crude humor. I mean, I'm a
yeah.
12-year-old boy trapped in a
Oh,
48-year-old body.
And you'll
you
enjoy it.
will love it.
You'll enjoy it.
You're
This is the perfect book.
how have you not heard of this book already at this point? Because like from a target audience standpoint, the like 5 sentences you've said on the subject put you squarely in the top 1% of people who enjoy the book.
I've heard of it, but I knew very little about it, and I've been exploring, genre specific stuff as of late, but I haven't really dove into fantasy at all. However, like I said, you had me at sentient cat.
Yeah, there's
if you're cyberpunk though, if that's like, I think you mentioned that was kind of your genre, is like
Yeah.
I mean you're under the science fiction fantasy umbrella, certainly.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so you're a fantasy lover already. You just haven't admitted it yet.
Well, yeah, you're right. You're right. I think there was the only fantasy book I ever read. It was, and it's been years. I mean, God, I can't even remember the title. It was a Stephen King book.
The Dark Tower.
No, I mean, I have read a couple of those.
Eyes
That
of
was
the
years
Dragon.
ago, too,
Eyes of the
but
Dragon.
I think that may have been it.
It was
It's
green.
been so long. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I'm a big
Yeah.
Stephen. Yeah.
I see. I see.
I'm a Stephen King. I wouldn't say super fan, but I would say that I have a lot of his work on my shelves and have read a lot of his work.
My father was a
Either that one or
die-hard
Fairy Tale.
Stephen King fan, and he actually, I read the very first novel I read from cover to cover was Tommyknockers,
Yeah.
and I fell in love with his style. Although mine is way different, but I love how he can just like illustrate things in such a way. To me, it's a beautiful art form that he presents, and I envy that.
Yeah, we all do, and the 9,000 books he published. So
Right,
that's
right.
that. So I want to get us into what we're actually wanting to hunt for on the show today. We're gonna break it up into two spots. Just set the table. We're gonna start with some dungeon crawler Carl talk. I'm excited about that. I do have a couple of prompts. Most of our group is absent today with the holiday, and so I'm gonna lean on you and Kana, Dylan, and but I think we've got enough to have an opinion here. So we're gonna start with
Yeah.
some crawler talk, and then we're gonna go into Katabasis. It's an R.F. Kuang book, just to set the table for you. That's based on and generally structured around Dante's Inferno, and it's like a dark academia
yes.
book. You say that, but wait till we talk about it, because
Okay, okay.
Dylan and I have opinions, and I can't wait to express them. So I would like to take a moment to recognize the day that we're in is Memorial Day. You were in the service, am I right, Dylan?
Yeah, for 10 years. Yep.
For 10 years. Just want to recognize today about anyone that knows somebody or has experienced loss in the military, and the sacrifice that people have made as part of the military and for our country. So big shout out to anyone in that spectrum, and want to recognize that is going on in addition to our Dungeon Crawler talk today.
Dylan, where did you serve in? What part?
I was in the U.S. Navy. I was stationed in Hawaii, but I was stationed with Marines the whole time. So,
Okay, wow.
yeah.
Nice. Thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I got to travel the world and see crazy stuff.
So our Dungeon Crawler Carl talk, I'm going to start with 3 video clips as a reaction. This is more fan stuff and less book stuff, so no spoilers here. Just things that Matt Denneman has said that I thought was pretty interesting. Let's open this up here so we can see it. So this is going to start out, and we're talking about book 9 in this clip. Oops.
Gosh, I'm not ready for it to end.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's not quite there, but it's getting closer.
We're getting close. We're getting close. Oh wait, that's a funny one.
And do you want to say what's happening with book 9 and what's going to take place?
Book 8 is the second to last book, and book 9 is the last book. But,
You didn't know that, huh?
but it's going to be so long, I already know this, it's going to be split in 2 books. So, we're going to basically, and people ask why, well, what the hell's the difference between a single book, like a book 9, part 1, 2, just 2 books? And the truth answer is I'm going to actually write it as one long book. And I'm going to be able to split it in like a douchebag cliffhanger place right Hey. So on that note, no. So we'll still have 2 very long books left, and I'm pretty excited to get it out there. So
Let
thank you so much.
him cook.
So just on that note, I'm not looking forward to the cliffhanger. If everyone is ready for that, I'm not.
The only relief from that is I feel like he does put them out fairly quickly, and we know that he's writing it all in one, so hopefully it won't be that long in between releases.
in true lit RPG, standards, you know, the release schedule is like a book every 6 months. The book is releases are on a every 6 month schedule. So we'll see how that rolls out. I'm gonna go to the next clip here. And this one I heard Kaney here, but I loved this clip here.
What is it like being an international sex symbol?
Well, I've been one since a child, so.
I don't think that's a thing. This, you know, I don't know where the fuck do we go from there? But honestly, I think you've seen more people in underwear than anyone else has.
When I started doing this, I never thought that, I was going to spend the next several years of my life with lines of men in hard underwear waiting to meet me.
But are you sad about it?
A little.
At least you pick you. And this is actually, there's the other part of it. It's not just lines of men in underwear. It's lines of men in underwear you designed. This is what I want men to wear when they say hi to me.
So I've got to stop for a second to explain. Part of the book is that the main character has to go through in a pair of heart boxers and no other pants and barefoot. So he's referencing that for the fandom that's relevant to us who are crawler fans. But just so it doesn't go over your head.
The underwear thing is nothing compared to like what my inbox looks like.
Oh, I don't want to see it.
I don't know.
I think you know what's in it.
That's why they want to see it.
It's all fake feet stuff.
That's actually mildly better than the dick pics I was expecting.
So the other thing is there's an AI that's pretty common for the lit RPG genre. Is that there's some sort of AI that's running the show, and the AI restricts and basically sets the parameters for everything that's going on. And the AI might have a little bit of a foot fetish. So,
Okay.
So
Okay.
this is going back to the fart joke example there.
Well, I mean, I'm already hooked, but now that you've mentioned AI, obviously I'm drawn in.
Yeah. I mean, it's there's more technology, and so like from your cyberpunk side of things like that is an element that might be interesting to you. And then I wanted to do one more clip. And once we do this clip, I got a notification. TikTok got mad at me for showing clips, and it said that it's metering our content because our show is unoriginal right now. Which it says, okay, in the content guidelines that you are allowed to use other people's clips and things as long as your commentary makes it unique. Oh, Otter Pops, there you are, man. I told you Otter Pops was coming, but I'm gonna bring you in, brother. We're gonna hop off and hop back on, so it resets the live so that it quits. Like, dude, I didn't see you. I'm sorry. It's my bad.
I've been here the whole time.
Kana is supposed to be the AI that's watching everything, so now she knows why I don't want to be in charge.
You're doing great, sweetie.
Well, I am like I am a one-track mind. I have such an awful time, and like I have whatever the opposite of ADD is. I am like a hyper-focus disorder where nothing else in the world is happening when I'm focused on something. So that's
Otterpop said, "Who do you think gave you that one line?"
That's so funny.
Dang,
oh, spicy,
that's kind
man.
of brutal there.
Spicy.
burn.
I'd have more likes on this, but we're getting metered by the AI in
Our AI overlords.
our AI
Goodness hearts.
overlords at TikTok. They won't give us any support whenever we send them emails, but they'll dang sure meter us if they think we're being unoriginal. So this last one, I want to do this one because this is I think you guys this is I didn't realize this, so I'll get your reactions.
Which of the characters in the book are the easiest to write and which ones are the hardest?
You know, some of the more quieter characters too. Louis is hard to write.
But Louis is you.
Yeah. That makes it even extra hard. I mean, it's like introspective.
Did you guys pick up on that?
I would never hire a prostitute that could shape shift.
Relieved we cleared the air for that one.
What is it like being an international citizen?
Okay. So this is something. Did you guys know that he what they were saying there is that he's actually writing his personality into Louis in the book.
That's interesting, especially as the books progress. We know more of Louis' backstory. So I'm curious of like Matt Dinniman's backstory because I don't know a lot about it, but I wonder if there's some similarities.
Yeah, I think there's something that a lot of authors do where they try to sneak like self-insert stuff into like a background character, right? To see if people pick up on it. I know that, who was it? I know that people all the time will make jabs at like Pierce Brown about certain characters. They're like, well, you're obviously so-and-so, and he like won't confirm or deny anything.
Well, I mean,
So-
Dinniman just said like, yeah, I mean, that's I wrote my personality into that. I agree. Yeah, Otter Pops, you're gonna have to tell me what you're like. I don't know. I kind of like Otter Pops. I might just keep calling you that. But usually I use the names. But Dinniman confirming that makes me want to go back and pay closer attention to some of the stuff going on with Louis. But he did write himself as the object of desire and as having a what did they say about Louis where he had he didn't trust any of the NPCs' affections towards him because there was something about his character profile or skills that made them all kind of fall in love with him, which is an interesting way to write yourself in this book. But, you know, okay, I'm going to end the live and I'm going to hop right back on. And so y'all just rejoin, okay?
All right.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm back. Hopefully everyone can hop right back on.
We back.
Right?
I have some thoughts on Louis.
All right, tell me.
Well, I think this gives an interesting angle because in book 8 we learned that Louis was one of Linus's targets, and I was a little like surprised that everyone considered him to be the heart of the crew. Like after thinking about it a little bit more, I think I can understand it a bit more. But now that I hear Dinniman saying he kind of associates himself with Louis.
I didn't even think
Yeah,
about
Louis the
that.
heart of the crew. I'm like, okay.
That's
Like, I guess that makes even more sense now, maybe.
Yeah, because if you kill Dinniman, then they're right. That would end the story. but I didn't even think about that. That's like an awesome. That's what I mean. Like, I kind of want to go back and reevaluate some of what he mentioned about Louis' character based on that clip. But I thought that was extremely interesting that Denneman wrote himself into Louis and not something that I had previously realized.
Did Louis being one of the targets surprise anyone else?
I think when they said that like he's the heart and it talked about like the reference back to the party, I was like, oh okay, that makes sense. Like the Christmas party, I was like that makes sense because he was trying to like Louis himself was trying to rein everyone in to distract them from all the stuff that's happening to like make them slightly happy, right?
Yeah. I guess I
And
considered Amani to be like the heart of the crew because I feel like she's
yeah,
one of the best representations of the humanity that they're fighting to have left. But I mean, Louis also shares that role.
I don't know if anybody saw the ranking voices with Jeff Hayes video that he did. But in that video, like he talked about how Louis is one of his favorite characters, like Matt did. He's like, Louis is one of my favorite characters to write and to hear Jeff portray just because he's a normal dude, basically, just trying to make it.
And they, so Louis out though, kind of, right? Like
He's in Sheol, man.
He's in oh yeah.
He's gonna get reunited with Juicebox. She's there. The system AI told Carl in one of the achievements that Juicebox got dumped in Sheol from after she was in the Nothing, I guess.
Yeah,
which
man,
is interesting.
We're if you're not on the Dungeon Crawler okay, Otter Pops, what's your real name, man? Like your first name, so do you want me to call you Otter Pops? I could do that for if you're.
I don't care. Like my actual name is Manny. I don't honestly don't care.
Manny.
Yeah.
All right, Manny. So Manny, have you read Dungeon Crawler, Carl?
Yeah, I'm actually reading the Dungeon Anarchist's cookbook right now.
Oh. Just forget everything I just said.
We're
totally not important. I'm just speculating.
We're already done.
Oh, yeah, man, we're gonna ruin your day on spoilers. I said that though, like it's in the spoiler warning, both books, right at the bottom, in bold letters. Okay, so where are we at on time wise? 6:40. What do y'all think? Should we jump to Katabasis, because I feel personally like,
I agree.
I don't want to like. I want these guys to read this book and experience it.
Agreed.
Okay. So, and I've got plenty to pick on Katabasis. So, the first thing is I'm not real sure how to say it. I told Kana I was going to go to the introduction of the audiobook that I have to get the actual phonetic pronunciation that I should be using, but I'm going to say Katabasis since that's how it was in my head. And if I'm saying it wrong, then I'm foolish and I apologize. So the opening gives us Alice Law and Peter Murdoch, and this is good even if you haven't read the book, because we read the first 6 chapters, and this is just the premise of the book that we've covered so far. And so we've got 2 main characters, Alice Law and Peter Murdoch, which they're graduate students pursuing their PhD in what did they call it? Analytical magic.
Yeah.
Analytical magic. Yeah.
And I think it's analytical magic at Cambridge. And so I was telling Kana earlier, I actually spent my junior year of college at Oxford, and so I was there, and I relate to some of these things that they talk about in Cambridge, because Oxford and Cambridge are structured extremely similarly, but they speak about some of these things, and I should be extremely interested in this book, because I understand some references that I feel like not ever, and I've sat in, like, one of my professors, it was a tutorial. It was weird how it was set up. You didn't like go into a classroom with 30 other kids. I went to one guy with a friend of mine and we sat there and read a 2,000-word essay out loud to him while he smoked his pipe once a week, and then he sent us to random like lectures all over the campus that other people would do, and then he'd give us reading lists. And so the the pipe smoking and like the attitude and everything that's there, she's actually hit a lot of this spot on, and I've liked that about how the book's gone so far. But there is some controversy surrounding this book. If you look at Goodreads, it's sitting at about a 3.4 or 3.5 star rating on Goodreads because the reviews have been very divisive. Some people very much love this book and are huge fans. Some people have not loved this book and have do not finished it and put it back up on the shelf. And we'll get into why. I can understand why they did that. So on the discussion, what I've done so far is I've pulled 3 critic quotes that I'm going to read, and then I want Dylan and Kana's reaction on what the critics had to say. So, critic quote 1, this is from Utopia State of Mind Review, said, Katabasis as a plot line comes into its swing later in the book, when the threads and the tension finally come to a head. I would argue that the momentum also picks up when most of the theoretical foundation is laid. Until then, I can see how it could be plotting or difficult to get through. You have to enjoy theory, enjoy picking apart an idea, and twisting it around your mind at the same time as Alice and Peter, because that's what largely makes up their character. At times, it can lean a bit heavy-handed on the academia, and if you don't want to have the feeling of being back in the theory trenches, this might not be for you. I'll say that towards the end, the theory patterns off. I was frustrated with a few theories that I wish had more resounding conclusion, considering the weight and depth that they were given in the beginning. Opening this book up, Dylan, agree or disagree?
I agree with that statement in the sense that you have to care a lot about certain things to be invested from the beginning. Like, you have to be a fan of theoretical or philosophical things, or else you're just gonna, especially towards the later parts of the chapters when it goes into like the exposition, you're just like, yeah, okay, like, yeah, I see where you're coming from, but like, why do I care? You know, like, if I'm just an average reader, why do I care?
Like, if you poke a hole in one of these, because she goes through and she speaks about a lot of, like, this is a very well researched book. Like, I feel her research and her work that she put into this book.
Yeah.
And I recognize the effort that she put. She tried very hard in writing this book and preparing for it. And but I do feel like she's speaking to a bunch of other people who are very familiar with philosophy and some of the argumentative methods that the philosophers blah 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 blah. That's why they called it the Sorcerer's Stone in the United States instead of the Philosopher's Stone, because we can't say philosopher, but the
English is hard for Americans.
yeah. But go back to what I said. If you don't understand or have some context with some of the general argumentative methods, then you can be lost in a couple of the sections of this book. So I'd agree with what you're saying there, Dylan. What about you, Kana?
I agree. I would say I'm close a little bit, but having read the critic quotes, I'm a little concerned that I'm going to get.
Your audio. I don't know. I'm not picking it up very good.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. I agree. I really am somewhat hooked, but it sounds like it takes a while for the plot to continue to develop. No?
It starts and then it cuts off for some reason.
It sounds like you're underwater.
Yeah. It's the Hello Kitty headphones.
How about now?
Yeah, I can hear you
Okay,
great.
I can hear you.
All right. I was just saying that
I agree. I'm initially like a little bit hooked, but that credit quote kind of concerns me because it sounds like we're gonna have to wait for payoff or to understand. And while I sometimes would consider myself a fan of like philosophy and this type of stuff, there was parts in the first 6 chapters that I was just kind of glossing over because I was like, this is too much, and I feel like I don't have the context to understand it. And I'd rather just focus on the dialogue and the story, and then I'll see if I can understand it later. I don't know.
So the the we to say that we have to wait longer, I think that we're getting into the part of the book that moves right now because the first 5 chapters were so heavy on introspection and exposition that as a writer, like my developmental editor would have staked me to a tree and flayed me for like how much time we spent not moving the storyline and setting things up. And so I'll get into the structural elements in just a second, but I'm going to get to the next quote first. The next quote is from Takes Two to Book Review. While I think the marketing of this book sometimes focused too much on the romance, I can honestly say that the romance is a subplot of a subplot. So if you're more of a dark academia person versus a romance person, you'll still enjoy the story. However, if you're more of a romantasy reader, you'll still appreciate the rivals to lovers trope. And I can see this trope rolling down the hill, ready to take over. Forced proximity is already there. Like we have a scene in a tent with somebody's leg getting poked on accident when they wake up in the morning, and the romance is there. How do you feel about the promise that the book's making to us from a romance and relationship standpoint?
I mean, that's one of the main things that's hooking me. It's like the mystery of Professor Grimes and then the romance subplot. I'm like, okay, I'm invested. I want to know what happened between them and what happens to them as the book progresses. So,
Yeah.
we'll see. I don't know.
I think it's one of those things where I've read R.F. Kuang's other books, so like she came off hot with the Poppy War trilogy. Like those were her first books. They were fantastic. They're dark, and then Babel is a fantastic book, which is also dark academia, and in the same sense of like you have to know things to understand it, really. But I think that with the marketing of this, because I remember when this was like being posted about a lot and people were like talking about it coming out, they were like, "Oh, romance! She's writing romance," and I was like, I mean, it's there, but it's not. It's not. It's not the forefront.
Do you feel like her publisher told her, "Hey, romantasy's hot. Write something with romantasy," and
probably.
she never had her heart in it?
Probably. Because I think that's with the other stuff too. I think that like romance happens in those books, but it's not. It's like a bottom of the rung thing that just happens as everything else is occurring, right? So I don't think she enjoys writing it.
I see such strong signaling on familiar romantasy tropes right now that I don't want to say it's inorganic. I feel like the way that she's writing, the characters, it's interesting, and it feels like she's experimenting, with Peter Murdoch specifically. Like Peter feels a little like I don't know that his reactions feel as authentic as she writes like anger, sadness, trauma. She writes trauma better than she writes romance, but that's okay. Like, she wants to hook Kana, and Kana's still reading because of that. So, all right, quote number 3. This is on pacing. This is from NPR, so pretty reputable source. Coming in at more than 500 pages, this is a lengthy novel, and there's a lot of world building as well as constant discussion about ideas, theories, and academia's inner workings and philosophical concepts. But the pacing is superb. Lots of dynamic dialogue and relatively short chapters make this a quick read that keeps the pages turning. Isn't Kwong's knack for fast-paced storytelling and flowing prose? No, what makes this novel shine is the way it's happy at being goofy, playful, and campy, but then doesn't shy away from being deep, smart, well-researched, innovative, and sure-footed as it pulls readers into a new magic system. So, my thought, it uses the term magic system, and as a Sanderson fan, if I'm through chapter 6 and all I've seen is a chalk circle, like, I'm not sold that there is a magic system right now, other than I've seen a chalk circle and a portal to hell. Like, that's the only magic that I've seen. I've been told that magic is irrelevant from a practical and commercial standpoint. This is supposed to be set in the 1980s, and there aren't very many jobs or teaching positions in higher education, because there's not as much demand for it. So it's like linguistics or analytical magic is almost like and I told Kana this, but my sister-in-law is an archaeologist, and there are very few public sector jobs or private sector jobs for archaeologists, and most of them are teaching positions, and the teaching positions are incredibly competitive, and the funding is incredibly competitive because there's not very much of it out there. So I don't like, if magic isn't practical, then is it interesting? And I haven't felt the fast pacing yet myself. What do you guys think?
No, yeah, I would agree. I think she could have improved on pacing in the beginning, like with the professor's murder. I think that would have been better done as a prologue or something. Or a lot of her like inner monologue or the information dumps we're getting before we even get to hell. Like that would have been better served as like flashbacks or just pitter pattered throughout her monologues. I think throughout the rest of the book. It was just a lot at the beginning. And the pacing is a little bit killing me.
Yeah, short chapters is a relative term when even on 1.5 speed, it's 45 minutes each.
That was a strange comment. I agree, because it's 500 pages and there's 36 chapters, I think.
Yeah.
And so,
like, and like I said,
pages.
even on 1.5 speed, each chapter is like 45 minutes almost. There's one that I think is like 20, but it is what it is. I just think, like you said, with the new magic system, a chalk circle is all we've gotten. Like, and there was explanation to it, sort of, kind of, but is that all they can do? Can they make chalk circles to hell? Like that's it.
Like, yeah, I mean, like, what, like, you can't make, chicken soup with magic. I don't know what it does. And so that to me is holding me back from jumping in and feeling great about this book. And so from a structure standpoint, okay, and Michael, you'll appreciate this. We're asked to present the story question very early in it. And the story question includes a few things. What does the main character want, and what is standing in their way of getting it? Who am I pulling for, and who am I pulling against? By chapter 6, we should have all of these things like completely established. And so right now, I know the main character wants to get her advising professor back so she can get her PhD. Like, we know what she wants. What's standing in her way? He died. Okay, and so, that's a fairly sizable obstacle. And this is, initial premise. So we've got what she wants. We've got what's standing in her way. Who are we pulling for? I think that's well answered. It's Alice Law and Peter Murdoch as a tandem, duo to traverse, whatever obstacles, because they have the same goal. So far at least, they have the same goal of getting him back. And there's mystery associated with the backstory, so we'll see from there. But who am I rooting against? Who's the antagonist?
Hell.
That's what I said. We were talking about this earlier. I was like, the Lord Yama? Question mark.
Yeah, but even in the theoretical talking of the underworld, it's not. They've already explained that this version of it is every single version of the underworld ever, right? So it's like based off of the experience of people there. Is he a bad guy, or is he just the guy that's there working? You know what I mean?
He feels administrative in
Yeah,
how they
like-
describe him, and it even goes so far as to say that Lord Yama, or they give him like 15 different names for all the different the different names of people in the underworld who have administered the underworld. But I guess we're using Lord Yama, which is an Eastern interpretation of the afterlife, which is consistent with R.F. Kuang in general in the way that she thinks and writes. But they said that he wants to let the mortals out. Like, he doesn't prevent them from leaving because he knows they don't belong there, and he's happy to shoo them along. And so I don't have conflict at this point, other than the path or the journey itself. I'm not like dogging Tolkien, but there's a lot of walking going on in this storyline so far, and that walking is what's holding the back. And there's so much word count here in the first 5 chapters, like Dylan said. I mean, these aren't short chapters. We're 100 pages into this book right now in chapter 6, and or like 90, whatever it is. So
190.
we're pretty far into the book at this point, and there's been a lot of opportunity where I don't see why we couldn't have had dialogue, and why we couldn't have had some action and movement through the inciting incident that's currently off page. The inciting incident meaning that Alice screwed up a ritual that killed her professor that she needed to sign off on her, or that she needed to defend her dissertation against to be awarded her PhD. And it's completely in retrospect and through introspection that is presented. But there was plenty of page count for that to happen on page, and some of his attitudes towards his students, and some of his meanness or cold-heartedness, or all of the things that she describes in her mind about her professor. We could have seen them interact and gathered those things on page, and it would have moved the narrative and been substantially more interesting. And I argue that there's enough room to establish all of her world building through that action, and that would have substantially improved the manuscript to me, just getting that on the page. How do you guys feel about that?
I definitely agree. I mean, I think some minor changes could have improved the experience in the first 6 chapters. And I was kind of just like plodding along. I was like, okay, it'll get really interesting when they actually go down into hell. And then it was just not what I expected at all. And also, I'm having a lot of trouble visualizing. Like, I like to visualize
sand dunes, like as Limbo.
Yeah.
And I find it interesting, the quote, like the wording in the NPR quote being described as goofy, playful, and campy. Like, this was my first R.F. Kuang book, and I expected it to be, just from what I've heard about her other stuff, like more dark, more fast-paced, more action. And maybe we'll get there, but
more gory, and maybe we will. I think we will get there. But do you think that people who are fans of R.F. Kuang would have DNF'd this book based on the first 5 chapters because of the brand that she's built and our expectations of her as an author?
as someone who has read all of them, uh, the character from this book and the character from Babel are like almost the same, like identical in terms of like how they act. Whereas Ren from Poppy War is like I feel has more depth. Like I felt for her more because like with Alice, like I'm not gonna lie, I don't really care right now. Like it's like
Yeah, I don't feel
because
attached to Alice, and I don't like her.
she's stated it herself. She's like, well, I don't have a problem with favoritism if I'm the favorite, and I'm like, oh, I don't care. I don't care about knowing how smart you are. Like, show me, right? Like, show me how smart you are, rather than tell me. And I think that's my issue with it. Um, and in the sense of like the structure, like you said, like with the gore stuff and all that stuff, like there's a little bit of it with like the description of what happened when she talks about like
In
how he got
retrospect,
kicked.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's in retrospect. It's not an active scene that's like it's her telling us rather than us experiencing it with her. And I think that's the main thing, really. Uh, and then
Thank you.
what is it called? I've always been, and I know you probably agree with me from like an editing standpoint. Show, don't tell. Like like
And there's so much
in all
page
honesty.
count to do it. It's not like sometimes if you're going to summarize something because you're trying to get to the next point, and a lot of the people who liked this book said that she skipped that part on the page in order to get into hell faster, and that's 100 pages to actually have something happen significant in the hell portion of this is not like she went. I mean, she went slow to get there. To me, it felt slow. I know we spent some time, in the the outer level or whatever, but we'll see how that goes and how that develops on a go forward basis. But I feel like she could have done it more effectively, and I don't think she would have lost any of what she said as development. Because Ren, I mean, you go back to the Poppy War, and not everyone who's read it, but the have you read Poppy War, Kana?
No, I bought it, but I haven't gotten to it yet.
I mean, when she's young and what she does to not have, her the feminine inconveniences and like, the like whenever that book starts out, like that girl is in freaking tense and
Yeah.
insane, and it made me emotionally connected to her in a way that I've not felt with Alice Law yet. So
I don't really relate to Alice at all at this point, and I probably would more than either of you guys, just because we're girls. But the only thing that's like fascinating to me, like about her, is the fact that she's like nearing a mental breakdown and has been pushing herself so hard. I'm like sickly fascinated to see what happens. I think she's gonna crack eventually.
the funny thing about this is, as much as I'm complaining about this book, by the time I hit the end of chapter 6, I wanted to read chapter 7. But if our book club would have stopped at chapter 4, I would have said, guys, do we just want to skip to the moth night?
Yeah.
Like, is everyone still on board with this? Because I'm just lucky we went 6 chapters at a time instead of 5 chapters at a time, because the end of the 6th chapter was the first point at which I felt like I wanted to keep reading.
I'll agree with that statement. Yeah.
So I'm going to stick with it. I made an analogy to somebody because I posted about this, and I got several people on my post that said, "Yeah, I quit that too. I wasn't about that book and how it started." But I was like, well, I've got a team that I'm doing this with, and I've got accountability partners that are counting on me to do it, and I'm willing to suffer for my team here so that we can get to the discussion. But hopefully, what I've read about this comes true, and we pick up. So I want to bring in just briefly Michael. um, describing, how do you view getting a story started?
That's a very good question. I've written countless many short stories, but never did anything with them. So what happens when I start to write a story of any kind? Um, I start off with a very basic idea, and then what happens is the story begins to develop in an organic way, I guess you could say. The best analogy would be like the development of a snowball rolling down a hill. It just gets bigger and more intense, and then finally the climax happens, and then it's over. Um, but for me, it really kind of starts with a basic idea, and it when I say basic, I mean it could be like one sentence, and then it just grows from there. The characters come in later. I always kind of focus on world building, um, but again, it really just starts off as just a very
Do
simple
you
idea.
plot your whole story out, or do you go by the seat of your pants?
I go by the seat of my pants.
So Matt Denneman on Dungeon Crawler Carl is a pantser through and through. I'm a planner. I have to have a plan for everybody, and I have to say who are they whenever they start the book, who are they when they finish the book, and then I have to plan out each character and how they develop and what makes them develop that way. And it prevents me from slowing down and writing the middle of the book. It helps me write quicker to do it that way.
Yeah.
And not to say that I don't often change it as I go because it doesn't feel right or whatever, but it is tough to get a story started and to get it all started in chapter one because the world building elements, like my wife reads my writing sometimes, and she wants me to draw, like she doesn't read fantasy and has no trust for the author whatsoever. And so I almost have to write an index of terms that she can read before she starts the book, because if I mention something that I plan on yeah, my mom actually likes my writing. All right, I had to reorganize. I have a Substack publication, and I spent the morning. I've been in trouble because I've been gone all day at my office, and my wife knows that there hadn't been anything. She's like, "You've just been doing book stuff all day." And I was like, "That's not all." But I created an index on my Substack because my mom could never figure out like where she was in the book or where put. So I had to like redo an index of it. But my mom actually is surprisingly supportive. But getting the world building on the page for an experienced author like that's cool. The Lit RPG Con. Where's the Lit RPG Con?
Is that?
Anyway,
he was actually here this weekend in Houston.
I'm by San Antonio. I didn't know you were by Houston.
Yeah, he was at Comic Palooza at the convention center.
Denver. There you go. Well, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm all the way on the East Coast. I'm in Delaware.
Yeah, it's
on the West Coast. So
it's fun on TikTok because you'd never get a group of people like this together if it wasn't for the internet.
Yeah.
But,
True.
What part of the Southwest or Northwest Coast?
Like Midwestern coast. Like I'm in northern Nevada.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like Reno area or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, definitely cool. That's
one of the biggest takeaways I've ever taken from any of my writing classes when I was in college was my professor Peter Turchi, and he was talking about the importance of like the first paragraph of anything you read or write. Like if that first paragraph doesn't have you, like you might as well just put it down. I was like, okay. But I mean, he's not wrong because he had a bunch of us pull out, like, he goes, go and find your favorite paragraph in writing, and we all wrote it down, and everybody agreed that, like, that, yeah, if I picked that up, I'd be hooked.
The Way of Kings is dead, Adamat. Like that was like that or the Age of Kings is dead. That's the Powder Mage opening. If y'all if
See,
anybody's read Powder Mage.
see, Dylan, I would disagree. I would say that it's like the first sentence of any book that really like grabs your attention. Like thinking about some of the greatest first lines in a book go to like Red Rising, you know, I would have lived in peace, but my enemies have brought me war, or the Gunslinger, the Dark Tower series. The Man in Black fled into the desert, and the Gunslinger followed. Like those are two just amazing lines,
Yeah.
and they just really
William
like
Gibson's
grab your
Neuromancer.
attention,
Great.
and they let you know, like, hey, this is kind of like what you're getting yourself into.
So, like, what you look at in the story question, and I'm probably easier than both of y'all. I don't feel like it has to be the first question, the first sentence, or the first paragraph, but you do have to signal to the reader what kind of story this is going to be very early in the book. And
Okay.
you know,
Oh, yeah.
because the reader, like, authors like to be mysterious, but the readers don't necessarily want us to be mysterious. The reader wants to know, or at least have an idea of what the story's going to be like, and especially in the first chapter. And
Yes.
If I have to get through 5 chapters to want to keep reading in Katabasis, I feel like she spent so much time in research on it that she was more focused on what she wanted to say in the book and forgot the narrative to an extent. Like she really she's thought hard about this book, and she worked really hard on this book, and then she forgot that we're sitting around the campfire and we want to be entertained. Like I want to be told a story, and I want to get away from the annoying crap that I see on a day-to-day basis. And it's interesting and I like conflict. I want to know the difficulties of their life and their world and what motivates them, so long as I care about the character and I'm invested in their story and the narrative. And I was patient enough with this book to get to chapter 6, and I can't remember any one line at the beginning of this book. Can y'all, that was like just a stand out, drop the mic type of line? Even Dungeon Crawler Carl, what's the first sentence or the first paragraph in Dungeon Crawler Carl that, blows him up? I can't think of one at the beginning, but I started caring about the characters. As soon as he jumped out the window to save his cat, I started caring about him because he did something,
relatable.
he did
like something I would do ish.
And he showed me that he's someone I should care about. And I related to him because he did something that was both mundane and heroic. And those are the type of things that connect us to the character and to the story, is when they do something that, people want to like the main character. And I think that's a flaw in this, and I don't know, maybe you want to be literary, and people use the term literary when they want to explain something that's non-entertaining. Sometimes it's like, oh, well, you didn't think it was good because you didn't get it. And it's like, commercial writing is it makes us care about the characters, and I think that's what makes people get on TikTok and talk about books.
I felt frustrated with Alice more than anything. Like, she just felt out of touch to me. Like, it's great, you're so passionate about something, you found what you want to do, and you're doing all the things to get there, but like, what is it, 30 years off your lifespan? I feel like that was such an irrational decision, and obviously she's not in the best mental state right now. But that just made me mad when she was like, "Oh yeah, obviously that's what I'm gonna do."
So what about Murdoch? Why would he sacrifice half his lifespan when he had someone to go do it for him? I like, unless like he's motivated by following her and is trying to protect her. I don't know of what from what the guy didn't even pack a blanket to hell. He's clearly not that sharp for how smart he is. And we're in the Dante hell, not the hot hell. It gets pretty cold whenever you get to the end of it. Supposedly, when we get down into treachery, it's supposed to be cold, and so we didn't even bring a blanket. I don't know how that's gonna work, but I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, can they go buy clothes?
Maybe they'll use fire magic.
Yeah, maybe their chalk will use but they.
They'll draw something to keep them warm.
I would at this point, on the supposed magic system, I would be excited to see her do something fancy with that chalk, but
The magic was the friendship made along the way.
well, maybe so. Maybe so. I hope that's not the extent of it. But all right. Any last thoughts across the board? We usually. I want you to just read the rest of the books really really fast, Manny, so that we don't ruin your day with the spoilers, because we are we, like I said, week to week we're gonna have people get busy and stuff like that. So and if y'all want to join in on our beatdown of Katabasis. We just did the first, and if y'all like writing, this is a good thing to read to show you why when your editor tells you to do some of this stuff, why are they telling me to do that?
Just say no.
Yeah, just read it and be like, okay, my editor told me not to do this because if I did do this, then it would read like Katabasis. But I am excited about the second. I am excited about the second 6 chapters. I will say, I'm looking forward to diving back in spite of my rant that I've been on with this. Dylan, do you do writing?
So my degree is in creative writing, but I teach high school English, so I teach kids how to write all the time. But myself, I have done mostly just short stories and poetry. I have one fully fleshed out short story that I've been trying to get published for a long time, and then I have 500 poems written that I just don't have the courage to try to publish.
You should do a Substack, man. That stuff does well on Substack. And it just gets it out there. Even if you don't make $1 million, trust me, I've looked at it. Even if you get published and the best thing happens with it, most people they get a $25,000 advance now, and they sell 500 copies, and that's a top 1% result as a writer.
Yeah.
And so.
I think that's the other thing too. Over the summer, I'm gonna kind of, like I said, start making that push towards trying to do something in general with my writing.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I
wish you the best.
Yeah, it's a good community, and I will read your stuff if you put it out there, man. So I have a librarian friend in Georgia that I'm going to invite to our talks, I think, because I think she's through the whole, she reads a lot. And I didn't realize how smart you had to be a librarian.
Yeah. Library science is heavy.
You're most of the time in school, if you're a librarian, you're one of the most educated people, at the school. And so I didn't realize that, but I do now. But anyway, I think she's caught up with most of the stuff that we're reading. I know what she's done on Katabasis, but I'm going to invite her to our talks in the future. But Yeah, if you put it out there, man, I'm excited, and I can tell that you're I knew you were a teacher, but I didn't know it was creative writing. So you're like an expert out here, man, on what we're talking about. So.
I do my best. I'm about to start. I'm about to go back to grad school, so it's just, yeah.
Nice. Well, there you go. All right, guys. Well, 6 more chapters next week. If you know, if Manny, if you want to join us next week and you want to get caught up, you're more than welcome to. We do this at 6:15 on Mondays, and so you know, and if we, you know, I don't care how many people like join our little, you know, reader club. If we don't have spots on the live for talking, then you know we can be in the comments. I think I get 8, and so we didn't even fill the 8 up today, but I think we get 8. Oh yeah, what's her name? Just tell us, or his.
This is Harley.
Harley.
My little baby. If we went into the dungeon together, I think he would abandon me.
All right. Well, we'll wrap it up there. See you guys next week.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me, and it's been a pleasure meeting all of you.
Yeah, good seeing
to meet
you
you.
guys.
I'll see you again around.
Sounds good. Bye.
Take care.